Good morning and welcome to Coffee Ann, the longest-running panel discussion show in American radio. To make a comment or ask a question of the panel, call 401-766-1240 or email coffee@woonsockеtradio.com. And now, let's join the Coffee Ann panel.
It is Coffee Ann on ON Radio. Thanks for joining us. This is Joe Callahan here. Nice of you to join us on this Thursday morning, February 27th. That's Bob Lauder over there. Hi, Bob.
Good morning. Good to be with you.
Nice to have you here with us. Sue Tessier-McKenzie from the Blackstone Valley Call-In-Times is with us. Hi, Sue.
Good morning.
And you're there, and you know who you are.
And Sue was just telling us about skiing.
She went skiing at Wachusett Mountain, huh?
I went skiing
And you had a good time?
As I was saying off air, skiing is faced with challenges, and it's not just about staying upright on your skis coming down a hill.
Yeah.
It's every step of the way is a challenge, because those boots, you got to get them on. Those boots are hard as can be. They're
Yes.
You got to, get them in, get your foot in, tighten them. But then you have to walk to the lift while holding skis.
As you're slightly leaning forward, too.
Right. And you got to
So
hold your
unnatural.
skis.
Yes.
You got to hold your poles. You got to walk in these damn boots.
Yeah.
Got to get to the lift or whatever it is. Like I started on the bunny hill, haven't skied in 15 years. Did great, never fell. But it's all faced with challenges. Now you get to the bunny hill. Now I'm like, okay, now how do you put these on again? So I remembered, put your foot in, slam the back, and whatever.
And it all snaps in.
And it all fits together. Did bunny hill a couple times just to reacclimate myself, and each time I did, I got better and better and better. So I went down like 10 times. I'm not stupid, okay? I don't have a death wish. I'm not one of those that wants to go to the tippy top of the mountain and say a prayer before I come down. I want to enjoy skiing. So I finally, after about 10 times on the bunny hill, which there were many other adults, just for the record, there were more adults than there were children.
Okay.
Of course, it's also a school day, but whatever. I asked the attendant, when do you know if you're ready for the lift? He said, I've been watching you. You're ready.
And you're ready. Oh,
He
great.
said, just go. So when I went down that time, I scooted to them. I left instead of the right, to get on the chairlift.
Which has its own challenge. Right there.
Every step is a challenge. So the guy's like, no, you got to go to the red line, and I'm like,
they're yelling at you.
know,
yeah.
and so now it's like, oh, you got to pull that down, It's like, but I'm trying to hold my poles and whatever. So, and you got to get in the middle of the seat. So I have to do all of that while making sure the seat's behind me before I fall back, Get to the top. And the girl operating, they do really good at Wachusett because they slow the lift down for people to get off.
Oh, do they?
Well, I made eye contact with this girl. It's like, make sure you better slow it down well. And she did. She slowed it down a tiny bit more than what I had seen following that one time. That's the scariest part. It's like, I'm going to fall, chair's going to hit me in the back of the head, and so it's a panic. I never fell. So I got off, I gave her a thumbs up and got off. Now I'm like, wow, I can do this. But I haven't skied in 15 years. The last time I did, I took my daughter, that never skied in her life, did the bunny hill, and I said, you want to go up on the lift? And she's like, yeah, okay. I had to get her down that hill while going backwards.
Oh.
Because, hold up, I took my daughter skiing. I'm mom. I have to protect my children. And I went down that hill backwards to make sure she was safe.
Okay.
And she did it. I didn't go back up with her. I went up myself.
Now you're on your own.
But she maintained on the bunny lift, but it was her first time.
Right.
So what are you going to do? But it was a lot of fun.
All right.
Thoroughly enjoyed it.
Have you ever thought of doing something less strenuous, like stamp collecting or something?
People are like, wow, you are brave. It's like, it's not about, it's something I enjoy. While my husband is still in the hospital / rehab, I decided I was going to do things that are challenging to do with him. And obviously skiing is one of them. I can't very well leave him in the lodge while I'm going up the lift because he would need to be with somebody, So that's why I did it. On Saturday night, or Sunday morning, I got up at 4:21, raring to go, and I drove to Rocky Point Park to take pictures of a sunrise.
Wow.
Yep.
Cool.
Again, something that's otherwise challenging.
Yes.
So
right.
I did me. I guess you could say. I needed to do things. It's recharging.
Okay. So Bob, no skiing in your life?
Now he's stamp collecting.
Yeah. There's nothing that beats, finding Brazilian airmail stamps and just
Oh
sticking
yeah,
them,
you
sticking them to the
you
book.
got that right, Bob.
Yeah.
Have you ever skied or
No, I've never
Ski,
skied.
No?
ice skating.
Ice skating way back when I was a kid, and back in those days, Vernon Pond used to freeze over.
Yeah.
And that's where you went to ice skating.
Okay.
But
All right. Well, you stop the same way on skates as you do on skis. So if you can skate, you can ski. That's the way I looked at it.
Okay.
Yes, but there are no ridges at the end of those skis.
No.
No, there's no ridges like on your
Yeah,
skates.
you're not stopping on a dime. You're, but she's right. You got to do the chairlift correctly, and you got to stand there. And then you got to look over your shoulder, but not over your left shoulder. You have to look over your right shoulder because unless you're on the left side,
Well,
you got to look to the outside.
So the signage while on the lift
Yeah.
said, "People in front of you have the right of way."
Right.
So you're right. Wachusett, the sun is behind you, so there are shadows that are created. So you don't really have to turn around, but you do want to, for snowboarders coming down that's experienced. First of all, they're not going to be on, that
The bunny
hill.
hill,
They're going to be
yeah.
on a bigger hill. But you want to be aware of your surroundings. You don't want to be the person that crashes or causes a crash. But it does say the person in front has the right of way. So I always watch the person in front of me while trying to, I have a good peripheral vision. So
If you ever go, and this freaked me out when I went skiing out west.
Yeah.
Because it's different. It's a little different out there.
Yeah.
Back here in the east, there are state laws, Maine, Vermont, New Hampshire, Mass, probably Rhode Island too, that you have to have a safety bar come over your head.
Okay.
Out west, they don't have the safety bar, and it's a weird feeling, Sue, going up that chairlift with no bar in front of
oh,
you,
for God's sake.
and you're like, I'm not. Now they're used to it, but us Easterners,
No.
not that the bar is. I mean, they call it a safety bar. Not that it gives you much safety, but it gives you something to hold on to.
But it's there.
But it's there.
And
That's
it's
right.
there.
And when it's not there, you're like, oh man.
Well,
I can fall off this thing.
Last time I went on a lift was at Wachusett, in fact, when they do a fall event, and so I'm like, come on, let's go up in the gondola. Was it the gondola? I think it was a gondola. I can't remember. It might have been just a lift.
Those are fun.
But it was a lift. It was a lift. It wasn't a gondola. I wouldn't have been afraid. Going up was fine.
Yeah.
It was coming down. You're like, you back up as far as you can on that chair.
Yeah.
And yes, there are bars, but oh my God, I was like, and I was with Ron, and I'm like, how is he doing this without? I was just like, again, I'm trying to be cool. I got videos of it, trying to be cool. It was kind of scary. So there's no way without a bar. Yeah.
Now, when you were
takes a little
talking
getting
about
used to
looking
it,
to your
yes.
left and to your right, why do you not look to your left?
You look to the outside, I should say.
Yeah.
Okay.
You look over your outside shoulder, depending on where you're standing.
Outside being the side that has the hill where you
Yes,
do the skiing.
yeah.
Okay.
That's just how you do it. Unless you're the person in the middle, then pick a shoulder.
Well,
to look
for
over.
me, like
Sometimes
I
it's 3 or
went,
4.
I have a video. I'll show you off screen. I have a video of me skiing. My idea of a GoPro. My idea of a GoPro was taking my phone. I had a little pouch around my waist to put my license and money, whatever. And I turned my phone on, stuck that in my pouch, but it kind of got blocked a little bit a couple times from the jacket that I was wearing. But it was funny. That was my GoPro. It was at my waist. But you could see my shadow
Oh, okay.
in the snow.
Well, not to worry, Sue. If you fall off the chairlift at the top,
Yep.
the chairlift automatically stops.
Exactly.
So you won't get hit in the back of the head.
I always worried about that.
Yeah,
But
it automatically
Again, I
case.
was shocked. I was shocked that I didn't fall once.
Good for you.
I mean, of course, I thought it was going to happen while I walked to the lift, but whatever.
All right,
great.
Bob, you ready for an opinion, a legal opinion?
A legal opinion.
It-
Okay.
It may not even be a legal opinion, but it's
Okay.
just a legal. It's a legal question that I'm going to throw out at you, and just it's more or less of why is it done like
Is
this?
it going to be as exciting as Sue talking
Not
about
at
skiing?
all. Not at all. So we got the story. Providence man was sentenced to 25 years with 13 years suspended after a second-degree murder charge was dropped to manslaughter in the 2021 death of a woman. Last year, 30-year-old Ryan Gallagher pleaded no contest in the shooting death of 25-year-old Taylor Peterson in June of 2021. Peterson was shot and killed while folding laundry, and Gallagher called 911 to report an accidental shooting. Prosecutors say a result of the defendant's criminally negligent handling of the pistol, he unintentionally discharged the gun and caused Peterson's death. Okay, the question though, Bob, is why do judges give out sentences that says, okay, you're sentenced to 25 years, but 13 years is suspended? Why don't they just say 12?
Because they want to make sure that in the event that the individual gets out after the 12 years and violates some type of law as soon thereafter, that the rest of their sentence can be imposed and they can be returned back to the ACI.
And finish out 25 years?
Right.
Okay.
It's a way of saying, okay, you're going to be on technically good behavior after you get out. And
Okay.
if you violate the good behavior, then you can go back to prison.
And we'll just tack on the
Right.
extra years.
Right.
Okay. I just never knew why they did that. If we're going to give them 25 years, why are we suspending any of them? And then just make it nice round 10 or whatever it is. So, okay, so that explains that. Okay, the bizarre story from Thursday morning is Gene Hackman has passed away.
I saw that on, heard that
He
on
is
the radio.
yep, and he is 95. However, his wife has passed away,
And dog.
and their dog has passed away. And now his wife Betsy is 63. So there's an investigation going on out there in Santa Fe, New Mexico. Now they're saying no foul play is suspected yet.
Then one
but-
might suspect it was something like carbon monoxide poisoning or something which,
You would think so, but you're in Santa Fe, New Mexico, and so you don't need a lot of heat in your house out there. It's not like around here with, snow or ice can block the stuff getting the heat getting out of your house, where carbon monoxide builds up in the house. But it could
but
be.
it's
I mean,
still
it could be faulty
wintertime.
something.
They may have had
Yes,
some type of heater that did that. A car may have been
Yeah.
left running in the garage and
maybe,
it was
it's
attached to the house.
or it's a suicide.
Well, then I would think that it would show that the investigation
That
would
would have
indicate
showed it
that
right
there
away.
was some type of.
You think they would have said it right away?
They may not have said it, but they would not have said no foul play is suspected.
You know,
Okay.
Right, Bob?
Okay.
They wouldn't have said no foul play is suspected if, in fact, they found a weapon
Okay.
or whatever.
Yeah.
you know,
All right. Or maybe it was pills or something. But why kill the dog?
that's why.
That's why you
think
think
that
carbon
it's
monoxide could be a
more
stove,
likely. Yeah.
kind of thing, like a gas stove did something like that. But I'm like, wow.
I definitely want to. I'm curious to know on that one.
Yeah.
because-
What's going on here? So Gene Hackman won 2 Oscars over his 50-year career. He won it for The French Connection
I remember that movie.
back in 1971, and then it took him another 20 years, and he starred with Clint Eastwood in the movie Unforgiven, a western. Plays the bad guy in Unforgiven, and he won the Oscar for that as well. He was terrific as the basketball coach in the 1986 film Hoosiers. He also played Lex Luthor in the 1978 version of Superman. And
It's pretty
bald head.
pretty sad when the one you remember going to was the one from 1971.
All right. Well, how
My
about-
social life has changed since then. I went to a lot of movies back then, but not now.
But he was, I guess, friends with Mel Brooks. And Mel Brooks was doing Young Frankenstein, and he said, I want to be in it. At the time, he'd done The French Connection. Gene Hackman was a serious actor. He didn't do comedy.
Which part would
So
he
he's
play
in,
in Young Frankenstein?
he's in Young Frankenstein. Do you know which part he's in, Sue?
Young Frankenstein.
No?
Is
No.
he the German general who is the police officer?
No. He's Kenneth Mars. He plays the blind hermit
Oh, that's right.
And he lights his thumb on fire. He pours the hot soup, and funny, he is not credited in the movie because I think he didn't want to be, because people think, well, because it's pushed as a comedy. Well, if Gene Hackman's in it, it's got to be a serious kind of film. So he's uncredited, but he's in there doing this very comedic role, and
okay. When I think about it, I can recognize him that way.
Yeah, with the long beard
Yep.
and pretending to be blind and doing all the funny stuff. And I mean, the scene lasts maybe 5 minutes. It's very short, and
Young Frankenstein is still a really funny movie, though.
it is a really funny movie. And his last line is, "I was going to make espresso." I don't know why that's such a funny line, but it is. All right, so more on the passing of Gene Hackman and his wife and their dog, as the Santa Fe, New Mexico police continue their investigation out there for that. So it's like, yikes. So there was something else going on. You hate when this stuff like this happens, but and I understand different police departments and fire departments, they will hire outside organizations when they're doing a fundraiser. They will to make phone calls. I mean, because the firemen and the police really don't have time to sit on the phone and try to raise money. So the Barrington police, they had a fundraiser going on. Oh, they're investigating a possible fundraising scheme in Barrington, because sometimes they're not doing a fundraiser, yet you get a phone call, "Oh, the blank police department's having a fundraiser. You want to give us $20?" And oh, that's a good cause. We'll give $20 or $100 to the police department, when it's really not going to them. And now this is happening in Barrington, where an employee of the company that was hired to conduct the police union's annual fundraiser. So the police in Barrington are doing something. They hire this company. But the person on the phone is calling people in Barrington, but they're mentioning Spencer and Christine Lane. These are the two people that died in the plane crash and the helicopter crash.
Right.
And they're from Barrington. So and now the police said you can't use them. They're not part of the police department. Yet someone there is using their name to get people to give money.
Wow.
And it has nothing to do with them.
Nothing, right.
That particular fundraiser. I saw that on the news yesterday.
Yeah. Terrible, huh?
But anytime there's a crisis of any sort, that's when people come out of the woodwork. Money is going to the fire victims in California or,
are they really,
or whatever.
Is it really going there?
Right.
And the company that's hired, they don't do this goodness of their heart.
Of course not.
They're getting a cut. You give $100, they're probably getting 10.
Right.
Let's say. So the person on the phone, who's basically just a salesperson, the more he can sell, probably the better commission he's going to get.
Right.
So he's going to use, or she, I don't know, will use any means necessary, especially to pulling at the heartstrings. Don't you want to help out the Lane family? They're going to get some of the money when we raise all this money for the police department. Especially if you're a resident of Barrington, you're going to, that's a great idea. So yeah. When that's not actually happening. So they're investigating this company.
I do absolutely nothing on the phone. And when I had my limo business, I would get these calls, police, whatever. Didn't matter what department, what fundraiser. And I would say, could you please send me a letter of I forget what the term is, so I can submit it to my accountant. Oh, I'm sorry, we don't do that.
Oh, well, good.
Then neither do I.
I'm surprised they don't say, sure, we'll send it to you, and then just hang up.
Oh, some have done that.
Oh,
some
okay.
have said, we'll send it.
Yeah.
And for the most part, however, they say, oh, no, we don't do that.
Oh, well, then.
Then neither do I.
Then we're done. Yeah. Really. All right, we're going to take a break here first break here in the Coffee and program, and more is coming your way. Comments and questions can be called in at 766-1240.
Entertainment this weekend at Chan's Fine Oriental Dining in Woonsocket, the James Montgomery Blues Band. Tomorrow night, Friday, February 28th. The party starts at 8 p.m., goes till 10 at Chan's. Blues legend James Montgomery invites you to the party and kick out the jam. 25 in advance, 30 at the door. Then on Saturday night, the Wicked Lowdowns on March the 1st starts at 8, goes till 10 at Chan's. Some of the best and seasoned New England musicians form the Wicked Lowdown. Paul Size and Jeff Berg on guitar, Brad Helen Bass on the bass, and Nick Toscano on the drums. Nick David on the harmonica and vocals. $20 in advance, $25 at the door at Chan's Fine Oriental Dining, 267 Main Street in Woonsocket, and they got great food there too. Chan's.
Is that a new Samsung Galaxy A15 5G?
Yeah, I got it for free when I joined Cricket Nation.
Sounds pretty great.
At Cricket, anyone can get a new phone when they switch.
Whoa.
With a high-quality camera, meaning more flattering selfies for all, and super fast 5G, so you can post them for all to see. Your friends, your family, your ex. Free phone! Free phone!
Okay, I'll switch.
Welcome to Cricket Nation.
Cricket 5G is not available everywhere. Must bring your number to Cricket on a $60 a month voice plan. First month service charge and tax due at sale. These terms and other restrictions apply. See cricketwireless.com for details.
Shopping with your parents can be embarrassing.
Why would they sell jeans with holes in them? I'm going to speak to the manager.
Mom!
That hoodie is giving. You should get it. YOLO.
Thanks to the Chase mobile app, your kid can shop independently while you keep an eye on their spending. So you can go from
we can be twinsies
to
how was shopping? Saw you stayed on budget.
Thanks, Mom.
Freedom for kids, control for parents. That's family banking from Chase.
Account subject to approval. Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank N.A. Member FDIC.
The Coffee and Panel is enjoying coffee from Down East Coffee Roasters. All their coffee is roasted right here in Rhode Island. Down East Coffee Roasters is available at all Little General stores.
ON Radio.
Have you heard of Scott McGee with RE/MAX Properties? He's been selling real estate in Rhode Island and Massachusetts for the last 17 years, and you can see that he loves what he does. Scott, as well as his team, take pride in what they call the fair and honest team. No gimmicks. And no, they're not buying your house if it doesn't sell, etc. Just fair and honest real estate. Scott personally works with tons of sellers and buyers and specializes in residential properties as well as commercial, and he's always very fair and offers super competitive rates. Remember, this is probably the biggest move in dollars that you will ever spend or receive. You want to go with a trusted and experienced agent. Scott is fair, honest, and modest, always puts the clients first, and he also dealt with literally almost any situation. You really need to look at your real estate needs as a business. You want to pay and get the right money now so that you're not paying for it later. Trust me. So why not give Scott McGee a call at 401-639-2906. That's 401-639-2906.
It's Coffee and on ON Radio. Thanks for joining us. Joe Callan here with Bob Lauder and Sue Tesser McKenzie. And Sue, guess what? Time for first message from the Blackstone Valley Call-in Times. You're up. Spotlight's on you.
Spotlight is totally on me right now. So, good morning. I have some news to deliver because it did not appear in today's paper. But we will be eliminating the Monday edition of the paper effective this coming Monday. Reason for that is, like many businesses, they're closed. Business is slower. That's why they choose a Monday to close. You know, how many restaurants are open on a Monday, for example. And I take part of the responsibility of that as an advertising rep. I want my customers to get the biggest bang for their buck. Advertising on a Monday is not it if you're not even open. So realistically, I did not sell much into the Monday edition of the paper. And while the company's not blaming me they're not blaming me, I have to take my part of the responsibility. But again, so many businesses are closed. Trying to advertise on a Monday is not financially feasible to my customers, and that is ultimately my first priority, is to get the customers the biggest bang for their buck. So, if you do not get a Monday paper, you can still call me. I'll tell you about it.
You're going to get a lot of calls.
I'll tell you why. It should be in the paper Friday, Saturday.
Okay. So it starts this Monday.
Right, and I just found out myself. And, when I mentioned the radio, they were going to try to get it in today's paper, so I was just backing a statement.
Okay.
But now I had to make the statement. So any questions, by all means, please feel free to give me a call, 401-487-4136.
Now, we all know that the Call and the Times are owned by, your parent company owns other papers. Is it across the board, like the Westerly Sun and the Sun Chronicle?
Not all have a Monday edition as it is. Many of them have a weekend edition.
And that includes Monday.
Some have a weekly edition. And others, again, you have to do when you have, like any company struggling right now, whether it's a breakfast place trying to sell breakfast without increasing the price of eggs, which is very difficult to do. You have to look at what's right, what's not, what's working, what's not. And for us, it became the Monday edition of the paper. The other thing was, in fact, combining the call-in times. And personally, I love that part of it. But I don't like that everything seems to be geared to Pawtucket. Like today's paper, we do have the Woonsocket Queens on the front page, which is wonderful. But we also have people that live in Pawtucket that are making it a little bit easier, and they don't live in Woonsocket. So we have that as a challenge that we're working on. But ultimately, by combining papers, customers are getting more coverage for either the same or less money. So that's what I look at it for my advertisers.
All right, very good. So Monday, no more paper on Monday.
Nope.
Starting this coming Monday. All right, very good. During the break, we asked Sue to do a little research, and she did, about wearing of helmets while skiing. And I asked, is it a state law in some states? And you found out no states have
no
a state
state
law.
has that as a state law.
But then we asked, well, what about, since most ski resorts, ski areas are individually owned, can they put a rule in on their mountain to wear a helmet? And the answer is yes.
Yes, they can.
So you have to check with each individual place whether or not a helmet is required.
It's required, yep.
Okay. So remember that, Bob, when you go skiing next. You may have to rent a helmet, too.
Well, then trying to protect, excuse me, whether or not I have a brain to protect.
That's right.
Bob's going to need to wear the helmet just walking through the lodge in them boots.
It takes some,
it takes
some practice.
Yeah, it's practice.
Well, I thought one of the reasons you walk through the lodge was because hopefully there were going to be young snow bunnies there who would be interested in having drinks with you at the bar or something like that. And
that's the movies, Bob.
That's in the movies?
That's in the movies. I mean, people ski. My experience yesterday, it was kind of funny. Now, first of all, when I first started skiing, I don't tout myself as a skier. I enjoy skiing. I'm not a skier.
Okay.
But my first time was, I don't even know how I ended up. We were at a party, and everybody's talking about so-and-so's parents have a chalet up at WOON. Why don't we go skiing this weekend? And I'm like, yeah, let's go. Never skied a day in my life at that point. They came to pick me up the following morning, and they're like, "Where's your equipment?" What equipment? I had nothing. I had mittens, a hat, a coat. That was it. And so, no problem, we'll rent. So I did well from the get-go. And, like I've skied Loon, Attitash, Cranmore, some of the big mountains, Gunstock, but I'm not a skier. That was some 40 to 45 years ago that I skied the big ones in New Hampshire. 15 years ago was Attitash, and not Attitash, I'm sorry, Wachusett. If anybody wants to try skiing, go to Wachusett. They offer, training and lessons and a bunny hill that you can go on, that you can stay on all day if you want. So if anybody that's the place to learn. It's not at, Loon Mountain and Gunstock and
you go to Yago Valley in South County.
You could do that.
They've got 12 runs.
Yep, and I've never been to Yago Valley. I've always gone to, if I'm going to do it, of course I go to Wachusett for their festivals and events.
Oh, okay,
so
yeah.
That's why I do that.
And they do, they have classes for adults, Bob. And they'll separate you out from the kids.
Yep.
Good, good. It would be terrible to have the young kids see how badly an adult could roll down the mountain.
And there were a lot of older people there. When I say older, I'm like, there's a guy walking with a cane, and he got on skis. I'm like, okay.
My uncle skied into his 90s.
Yeah, I believe it.
Skiing is one of those sports that you can do most of your life if you're healthy enough.
Yeah,
it's like bowling.
You gotta have good hips.
Yeah,
that's one thing you gotta have.
The only thing that bothered my uncle when he got into his 90s was he couldn't ski all day anymore.
Right.
By noon he was exhausted.
Yeah.
And you start at 8 or 9 in the morning. He used to go all day, all the way to 4 o'clock.
Right.
But
that is amazing.
He's like, no more. He goes at noon. I got to stop.
But you know what I found, especially having not skied in a long time, So I got there about 9:30 in the morning. And by the time you're settled and everything, we'll say 10 o'clock, I'm, heading down the bunny slope. And took a break around 12:30. Went and had a cup of soup. And then went back on the mountain. That's when I, did the upper lift. Now, I never went back to the bunny slope. But you need to stop. It's beneficial to just stop, sit,
and take a break. Yeah.
And whether it's you're having a coffee, a hot chocolate, or something for lunch, and then go back again. And that's what I did. It took a lot for me to around 2 o'clock to say, "Okay, it's time I go."
Yeah.
It took a lot. I didn't want to leave.
That's amazing stamina for your uncle, though.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, he skied all his life, so he was in pretty decent shape.
Yeah.
And it's just, but you get older, and stuff happens. So.
Yep.
So we're gonna take a break here in the Coffee and program, and it's time for a second message, Sue. So tell us the big news from the Blackstone Valley Call-in Times once again about Monday.
I was going to say,
What's
there's
the big
no
news?
other big news. The big news is we
repeat the big news.
we will no longer have a Monday edition of the paper. Anybody missing past editions, however, give me a call. If you have any questions or concerns, you can call me at 401-487-4136. You need memoriams or anything of the sort, you can call Christina at 767-8503. We find that number can be difficult sometimes to get through, so again, call me on my cell, 487-4136.
All right, Sue, thanks. So we're going to take a break here in the Coffee and program. We got a note to get to. We'll get to that when we come back. Time for the forecast, being brought to you by the Crohn's and Colitis Foundation.
Rain is 60% likely today, mainly in the afternoon. Cloudy skies, high of 52, and a breeze from the east up to 30 miles per hour. Tonight, mostly cloudy skies, gradually becoming mostly clear. Overnight low of 34. Friday's weather, sunshine and 43. Friday night, a 40% chance of some snow, mixing with rain later, mostly cloudy. Overnight low of 30. Saturday, 50-50 chance of rain, partial sunshine with a high of 53. Saturday night, another chance of some rain. Sunday looks sunny with a high of 31. Monday, sunshine and 32. And on Tuesday, mostly sunny skies and 44. Wednesday, rain.
Outside the Navigant Credit Union broadcast studio on the corner of Park Ave and Kennedy Street with cloudy skies, we have 38 degrees. The Crohn's and Colitis Foundation has been at the forefront of inflammatory bowel disease research and care for over 50 years. Learn more about research, education, and support at Crohn'sColitisFoundation.org.
Krakow Deli Bakery Smokehouse offers authentic homemade Polish food to make your next meal special. Try our many varieties of hot and fresh pierogies with onions and what they call dirty sour cream. Or pick up gołąbki, kielbasa, babkas, or some fresh rye bread. We also offer a large selection of specialty and imported foods. Open Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays, 9 in the morning till 6 p.m., Wednesdays, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., Saturdays from 8 to 5 p.m. It's Krakow Deli Bakery Smokehouse. Follow us on Facebook and learn about our weekly specials. Located at 855 Social Street, Woonsocket, Krakow Deli Bakery Smokehouse has all the authentic Polish foods you love.
Here's what's coming up next. Greatest Hits USA.
Hey, this is Chuck Matthews on Greatest Hits USA. And coming up this weekend, we are going to answer the following questions. What group participated on What's My Line? Who bought back their record from Motown? And who had the #1 record this week in 1975? Find out. Turn it up this weekend right here.
Greatest Hits USA.
It's Coffee In on ON, AM, and FM. Thanks for joining us. Joe Callahan along with Sue Tesser McKenzie and Bob Lauder. See, Bob, take a look at your picture.
I was just going to say, Bob's peripheral vision's not too good.
Not what it used to be,
If he didn't know he was being...
Bob, it's time for a first message from your law office, please.
Thank you. Good morning. This is Attorney Bob Lauder. I'd like to return this morning to the subject of estate planning. And that's not because I have that staring in the moon reaction every time Joe asks me a sports question, but because even great sports personalities should also engage in estate planning. And from what I've seen on television recently, some of them really need good security alarm systems. But even though you may think, I'll never have the assets of a great football player, you probably still have assets which you want to have distributed after your death. And estate planning comes in separate parts. First part is to identify your assets. And that can be those special items which make up your life. Hey, Diana, here's the oblique reference of the clock. As well as your financial investments. You should make a list of your bank accounts and the names of those who are listed on the bank accounts as co-owners. Then all of your IRAs and 401k investments and the names of the beneficiaries and contingent beneficiaries you have on each. And then all of your life insurance policies and the names of the beneficiaries and contingent beneficiaries on those as well. On these last items, it's best not to try and remember the names of beneficiaries, but also get out the investment and policy documents and read the names on them, for sometimes your memory may not be the same as what the company has on record. Then you should make a list of all your heirs at law, starting with your parents, even if they predeceased you, and all of your siblings, and then your spouse and your children and grandchildren. Not because you may be intending to make any bequests to any of them, but to provide your attorney with a family tree of heirs, which may be necessary to accompany any documents to be filed in probate court. And once you've completed these tasks, you've come to the most difficult part, and that is to whom you want to leave any of your inheritance. How large is the inheritance, and who receives the inheritance in the event the first beneficiary dies before you? Thereafter, preparation of these appropriate estate planning documents is relatively easy. And at this point, the best thing is to consult an attorney. Please do not attempt to craft the final documents on your own, or with the use of forms available on the internet. One of the estates which brought the largest fees to my office years ago resulted as an individual who attempted to write her own will. The document she wrote didn't fulfill the legal requirements to be considered the last will and testament, and the heirs at law engaged in lengthy legal battle. All of the lawyers were prepared well, but the final distribution of the assets determined by the court probably didn't meet the notes left by the deceased. Most of the legal battles and the distribution which vitiated the desires of the deceased could have been avoided had the deceased engaged in a lawyer to provide the appropriate documents. If you think my office may be assistant to you in this or legal matters, please call me for an appointment. My name is Bob Lauder. My telephone number is 762-4550. And the disclaimer, the Supreme Court of Rhode Island licenses all attorneys in the general practice of law. The court does not license or certify any attorney as an expert or specialist in any field of practice. Thank you.
All right, Bob, thanks. And while Bob was giving his message, Sue reached into our box to pull out a name for the Milk Fund calendar raffle.
Wait, she wasn't listening to me with rapt attention?
Oh, she was. She can multitask. She's
Whoa.
skis, right?
Oh, I multitask.
So today's winner wins a $25 Target gift card, and Sue pulled out this name, and it is Mark Rebello is our winner today. We'll have one more winner tomorrow during for the drawings of the February 2025 Milk Fund calendar raffle. Congratulations,
I would have,
Mark Rebello.
I would have loved to buy one of those calendars. You have to hit me up next year.
Next year, okay, we will. We had a note that was called in, 766-1240. It says to the panel, but really it's for Sue. With the No More Monday Blackstone Valley Call-in-Times newspaper, will the price of the paper change because of no Monday paper?
I do not know.
Okay.
I will say this. Eliminating the Monday paper may be a way of not having to increase, because we, like everybody else, are faced with increases. If you even, again, I keep using eggs as an example because they're so expensive. If a breakfast place used to make 3 egg omelets and now going to do 2 egg omelets, they're not going to reduce the price. It's offsetting the cost of the eggs. So I can't answer that, but it may be a way for us to not have to increase.
Where does the paper come from that you print on?
Well, we used to print right on Main Street.
No,
actually,
I mean the physical paper itself. You buy
that
it from
I
Canada,
don't know. There is a
or-
place in Massachusetts, Irvine, or whatever it is, that produces newspaper paper.
Okay.
I don't know. I want to say it does come from the United States, that we make the purchase. Where it starts out, I do not know.
Okay.
So, I mean, because now, if that be the case, if it's coming in from Canada, for example, now, between tariffs and, so on and so forth, increased taxes, I don't know.
Okay.
All right. We've all heard the story of what was going on at Rhode Island College about the hidden camera. in the bathroom, and the subsequent arrest of a worker there at Donovan Dining Hall. Bob, the question to you is: he has been charged with one count of video voyeurism. Do you know how much jail time that could be imposed if he is found guilty?
I have absolutely no idea. I've never had a case that involved video voyeurism at all.
Well,
and I don't recall
it
seeing
is relatively
one.
new, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't recall seeing one in any of the times I've been in court in the old days.
Now,
so I have no idea on that.
Okay.
Now, would that also, you said one count of video voyeurism, does that also depend on how many victims there are? If there's 10 people, if he had, you know what I mean? I wonder if that makes a difference with the, I mean, obviously, Bob, you can't answer that.
I would think it might make a difference.
The
in this
more
case,
cases
there
there
was
are.
one person, I believe, who spotted the camera and
Right.
made the report on it.
Yes.
But if they determined that through videotapes or something like that, there was more than one potential victim, then I think they could increase
The amount, the counts
right.
may go up.
Right.
They also did a sweep of the campus looking for more cameras.
Yeah.
They didn't find any. That could lead into it. Let's say they found 3 other cameras.
Right.
All traced back to this
Exactly.
one person. The counts of video voyeurism would go up.
Now, was it
quite a
his
bit.
phone that was there? Because I know some put their phone in the bathroom. It might be there for an hour when they go back to get it. I don't recall if it was, in fact.
I don't think so. It was actually an actual camera up in the ceiling.
Okay. And you know, I got to
Hidden.
be honest, man.
Yeah.
That's the last place I would think anybody wants to see what somebody's doing. Just saying.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. I don't understand. Never understood that one.
I don't know if it's the actual act that they're wanting to see. Maybe it is. I don't know. Everyone's different. But it's the quick flash of the undressing part
Maybe.
that they, well, you know, and what 2 seconds?
It's
that I've seen it. I don't know. That's really the only thing I can
wait.
think
What
of.
did he just say?
Yeah, I don't think he meant that as a personal.
Is that
confession.
way?
No, no.
What did I
think that-
what did I say
I think
now?
that
I've
was
seen
more
it.
of a,
You said I've seen
I
it.
think that was more of imposing an idea on the prospective criminal.
Yes, thanks, Bob. Bob's my lawyer.
Good thing your lawyer's here.
I was going to tell you earlier, but this is a good point to do it. You
Look at his face. Oh my God, he's getting all red.
I blush.
You do
Look
a
at
really
him.
good job of bringing up topics for this program on all 5 days.
Oh, I think so.
That's his job.
That's a slight Freudian slip. I have no cameras. Right. Well, if you're looking for a summer job and you weren't one of the thousands of people that went down to the soccer stadium
You're right.
to find a job there, the Rhode Island Department of Environmental Management is now offering signing bonuses if you want to be a lifeguard this summer, who will staff all the state beaches. RIDEM says anyone who gets signed before June 27th can get a $500 bonus. But you got to stay all the way through Labor Day. Sometimes the college kids
They
leave
have to
before
leave
Labor
earlier.
Day.
Yep.
Yeah.
And that's a problem.
Yeah.
That's a problem because you go, you're paying for a pass in some cases, and you go to there and your bathrooms are locked. You have no showers.
But yet
and
you
there's
can
still
be
2 weeks to go.
Yet you can be 16 years old to be a lifeguard.
I
or higher.
wonder if I doubt requirements are different, but if you're going to be at Spring Lake versus Scarborough, if there are different requirements, or do you have to just be a Rhode Island licensed type lifeguard?
As long as you can swim and, well, I don't know. I'm not.
I mean, it's got to do with.
It sounds like you should, because it's much tougher to swim in the ocean than it is to swim at the
So
lake.
your swimming capabilities need to be better.
Yeah.
But there's just certain. I mean, when you really think about it, it's completely different if you're at Spring Lake versus Scarborough. So it would only make sense that your abilities.
And maybe they take people that come back year after year, more experienced, stronger lifeguards. They're looking to hire between 120 and 150
Because I think people
lifeguards.
might be more apt to apply for the position if they're, live in Burrillville, for example, and they want to be a lifeguard at Spring Lake.
Yeah.
You would think that more people are apt to, like a person might say, like, oh, damn, I can't swim in the ocean, but I can swim at Spring Lake.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
I'm curious
I'm
about
surprised the minimum age is 16, though. I thought in the old days it was 18 years
I
old.
think they had to lower it just to get applicants.
Yeah.
Wow.
and as long as you pass the whatever the swimming test is,
Whatever, yeah.
and you're certified in CPR, and what else would they have to know?
Yeah,
row a
I
boat,
think there's a
you're
timing.
okay.
There's a timing. They
Yeah.
do the what do you call it?
Where do they do
the board there that they go out with? So they because I
yeah.
see them doing it. They do periodic training at the beach that I go to.
I think they do it at the beach, Bob.
And they
Okay.
time how long it takes them to get out,
yeah.
to a potential victim, because one of the lifeguards plays the victim, and
Yeah.
they time all of that. So there's a lot of factors.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
I wouldn't want that responsibility.
No.
And a lot of times, nothing happens.
Right.
And you're sitting in your chair, and it's kind of a dull. If nothing's happened, it's kind of a dull day.
Yeah, the ocean, you're picking up a lot of people that got hit by a wave.
That's true.
Yeah.
All right, we got to take another message. Take a break and get another message from Mr. Bob Lauder, and the attorney. So you're up, Bob.
Thank you. Good morning. This is Attorney Bob Lauder. Let me return to estate planning and a rather macabre part of it. That is, to the issue of preparing your own obituary. Recently, one of my favorite cousins died. I'd known her all of my life, for she was only 4 days younger than me. And in the absence of any spouse or children, I was asked to write her obituary. I thought I knew all about her life. But at the funeral, people kept coming up to me and telling me things that she had done that I never knew about, and which I would have liked to include in the obituary for others to know about her. I know it sounds morbid and maybe a little pretentious, but I think it's important to your family to write out your own obituary. That way you'll make sure to include those incidents and achievements which made you the special person your family and your friends knew and loved. And also make sure that that incident when your mother had to bail you out for stealing penny candy from the local variety store doesn't become the highlight of the obituary. If you think my office may be of assistance to you in legal matters, please call me for an appointment. My name is Bob Lauder. My telephone number is 762-4550. And the disclaimer. The Supreme Court of Rhode Island licenses all attorneys in the general practice of law. The court does not license or certify any attorney as an expert or specialist in any field of practice. Thank you.
All right, Bob. And I know some English teachers, I don't know if they do it in high school anymore, but
Yeah, I
I know
don't know.
they've done it in high school, and that's an assignment.
Really?
Write your own obituary.
Yep. I've had it as an assignment to write somebody else, like a celebrity's obituary, so you had to study. So it was two-part. You were doing your study, your research, and so on, and then you had to write it. But what you say makes so much sense. My brother-in-law passed almost 2 years ago. And, I knew he was a great guy. I knew, you lived here, you lived there, all of the basic information. I had no idea. He worked for a radio station, I knew that, but I didn't know that his job was to wine and dine the celebrities. I mean, he'd had lunch with Janet Jackson and, all of these big names. And I'm sitting there in awe at the funeral.
Right.
Listening to people speak about him. It was mind-blowing. It really was.
Okay, we're going to take a break here in Coffee Inn, but more coming up. Please stick around.
Hi, it's me, your USPS Ground Advantage shipment. Just left the warehouse and hitting the road.
I know. Just got the notification.
Great. Smooth sailing so far. I'm almost there.
Yes, I know. I get all the updates.
Made it. Safe and sound.
I know.
Well, did you know I was with USPS the whole time?
Oh, yeah. I know.
Keep your business in the know with the USPS Ground Advantage service. Visit USPS.com/in-the-know.
Hey, Joy. Oh, you are glowing.
Oh, hey. More like Mirajoyed. That Miralax helped me go. I was so backed up. Tried mega coffees, prune juice, everything. Then Miralax. And hello, gentle relief without the harsh side effects.
Ooh, how does it work?
It works naturally with the water in your body for constipation relief. Find Miralax today at your local retailer.
Use as directed for occasional constipation.
Casey Kasem has unlocked the American Top 40 vaults and is replaying original shows from the 80s. This week, Casey takes you back to March 1st, 1980. That's when Smokey Robinson was cruising. Tommy James was 3 times in love. Michael Jackson was off the wall. And Queen found a crazy little thing called love. You'll hear those songs, all the top 40 hits, and the long-distance dedications from March 1st, 1980, right here on American Top 40, the 80s.
You can depend on us for public service. ON Radio.
It's Coffee Ann on ON AM and FM. Thanks for joining us. This is Joe Callahan, and we're here with Bob Lauder and Sue Tesser McKenzie. And so this story happened in Southbridge, Massachusetts, which is relatively close by.
Yep.
And a 19-year-old is accused of stabbing a fellow student at Southbridge Academy. All right. Scott Gomes is charged with assault and battery with a dangerous weapon and threat of a dangerous items or hijack. Okay. Police allege that Gomes made threatening comments before he threw a pair of scissors at a student.
Okay.
And he hit the student in the thigh.
All right.
Because I'm like, wow. The injured student was treated at the hospital. Gomes was taken into custody. Because, I've always thought about that. If you're working like a liquor store or a convenience store or something like that, and someone comes in to hold up the place and they're only holding a knife. Well, why doesn't, and I've never been in this situation. I don't know what I would do. But if you back up and move to the side and just say no, or start running.
Right.
How good is the robber at knife throwing? I'm assuming he's not going to be very good.
Right.
Especially if you start zigzagging. But now this guy threw a pair of scissors at somebody and hit him.
But scissors are dangerous. They have sharp edges. They have points on them.
But
But
hitting him is what's amazing me.
Okay.
I mean, if I try to throw a pair of scissors at you, Bob, I would probably miss.
Right, Joe's not saying that, he only used a pair of scissors, he shouldn't be charged. He's saying, right, exactly.
How did he hit him?
With
makes
the
you wonder how
scissors.
close they were.
Yeah.
Like 5 feet apart or whatever. I'm just amazed that he threw a pair of scissors and hit the person in the thigh.
Right.
Usually it would whiz by you and stick on the wall or something like that. So.
With the illustration of the guy coming into the convenience store with a knife, the man behind the counter, the woman behind the counter, isn't able to make the determination as to whether or not you're dealing with a professional knife thrower or you're dealing with somebody who has about a fourth grade ability to hit you.
But how many people are professional knife throwers?
Again, I see what...
If someone came into the liquor store and it appeared to be a weapon, an automatic gun, how do you know whether or not it's just a plastic gun? How do you know whether or not it's loaded? You can't make those kind of decisions. I think the person behind the counter has to assume the individual making the threat and having the weapon is serious about it and able to fulfill the danger.
There's the lawyer's perspective
here's
of it.
Either the money or I can pull out my own weapon from behind the counter and try and defend myself.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I think Joe's also saying somebody coming in with a knife and you're behind the counter of a liquor store where there are bottles all around you, I got a better chance at hitting the robber with a
bottle
than he does of reaching me with the knife. I think is the point he's making.
And once the robber with the knife throws his knife,
it's gone.
He doesn't have a weapon anymore.
And you still have a whole lot of bottles.
And that's right. Now he's got nothing to use.
Yeah.
So. But I've never been in that situation.
Right.
I don't
and
know
nobody
what I
can
would do.
say what they would or wouldn't do.
Right.
Well, if I ever plan to rob a liquor store and I know that Sue's in there, I'm going to wear rubber gloves so that I can catch the bottle she's throwing at me. And
excellent plan, Bob.
Can you throw me one of those? That's what I wanted, really.
Did you hear about this woman down in Memphis? She pleaded guilty. She was trying to sell Elvis Presley's Graceland estate.
How was she planning to do that?
Oh, by forgery.
All right.
Yeah. Prosecutors say Lisa Finley forged the signatures of Presley's late daughter, Lisa Marie, on a note that claimed she did not pay back a nearly $4 million loan. Connected to Finley, Graceland was fraudulently listed as collateral. And Finley allegedly put the Tennessee estate up for auction.
Okay.
She could get 57 months in federal prison when she's sentenced in June. I don't know what she was trying to get. I guess she was thinking they were going to pay her the estate. I don't know how she thought she was going to make money on this.
She may have forged the names of the owners of the estate onto a mortgage or something like that, recorded it in land evidence records, and then tried to foreclose on the fraudulent mortgage by offering the property up for sale at a foreclosure or something along those lines.
That sounds right.
Yeah.
That sounds more likely.
Yeah, but it's just forgery in itself is a crime, right?
Definitely, yes.
All right. I don't know if you saw video of this, but there was another. It's really not a near miss. It's a near hit almost happened with airplanes. Passengers on a flight from Boston are safe after they were trying to land at Reagan National Airport, and the American Airlines plane left Boston, was descending when the air traffic controller said to the plane to avoid getting too close to a departing aircraft. They crossed. The American Airlines flight had to pull up as they were coming down, and they just missed hitting each other.
I saw the video.
I'm
yes,
like, wow.
Did you?
That
I
one
didn't.
came
I didn't
really
see that
close.
video. I heard about it, but I didn't see the video yet. When I was.
It looks like a private jet is coming right in front of them.
Yeah.
As they're coming down.
Yeah, that happened when I was landing. I was in a small Cessna, and we were landing at Providence. And, the air traffic control, and I hear them, and they're like, you got a Delta behind you, whatever their things are.
The lingo is,
And so they're telling the pilot, because I don't know what they're talking about, they're telling the pilot what you need to do. And I'm like, looking behind me going, dude, why don't we just let this Delta go? Get out of the way.
Get out of the way. Get out of the way of the bigger machine.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Anybody
but yeah.
thought about Amtrak and buying
Trains. That's
Yeah.
right. Yeah, there's never another train usually crossing in front of you. So, all right. This name might not be familiar to you, but when I say who he is, you're going to go, oh, yeah. Luigi Mangione. This is the guy accused of shooting the CEO of U.S. Healthcare, United Healthcare, I'm sorry. Luigi is asking fans, and this is, people are weird. People are strange. He's asking fans of him to stop sending photos of themselves to him.
Photos of themselves like ordinary studio shots, or photos of themselves like something more salacious?
Doesn't really say. His legal defense fund website, it now says Luigi appreciates the photos that are sent. Kindly asks that people send no more than 5 photos at a time.
Oh, for the...
It also mentions on the site that it's impossible for him to respond to most letters written to him, but he thanks people for sending them and says he reads them all. People have donated hundreds of thousands of dollars to his defense fund. Mangione has pleaded not guilty to that murder charge. It doesn't mention what kind of letters they are, what kind of photos they are. But obviously people are sending more than just one.
Yeah, it's like the...
Here's 30 for me.
I mean, there are movies on, women that
Oh, they love convicts.
Befriend convicts
they love
and all
them,
that.
yeah.
You see it, and much of it is, in fact, they didn't get the name convict for nothing. It's a con. And, yeah, there's been a lot. You see movies on that.
When I was, I went to school out in Idaho, and out there was the convicted killer named Claude Dallas. He shot a park ranger and killed him. When he was going to his trial, the ladies showed up. They actually had a nickname for themselves.
Okay.
His name was Claude Dallas.
Right.
They were the Dallas Cheerleaders.
Oh my God.
Whoa. Okay.
And there were more than one.
Wow.
And I saw the videos of these women. Claude's the greatest, and free Claude, and all that. I think he's still in prison, by the way. He escaped one time.
Okay.
While I was out there, he was on the lam, and he made it all the way to California, and they arrested him coming out of a 7-Eleven. Didn't put up a fight though. Claude Dallas, Claude.
Wow.
So yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, there's something about it that. This is a little different though with the guy the CEO of United Healthcare. These are the people that hate the healthcare system in the United States. So I'm thinking he's getting photos from everybody, and just saying that yeah you're the man, and you stood up for the rest of us kind of thing, which is odd because United Healthcare wasn't his healthcare company. So
I can understand maybe sending him the money to help his defense team.
Not in prison anymore.
Claude's out?
No. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. He was a real live off the land kind of thing.
Yeah. I remember this conversation we had.
Didn't like the government, wanted to be left alone, but he was camping, kind of like what the homeless do. He was camping on federal land. Yeah, he was fishing and killing deer, but only for himself and like that, and that's why people loved him. And a federal ranger came to throw him out or get him, and Claude shot him. So
when you were doing your research, did it say why he was out? Was he out because he fulfilled
was
his
released
sentence,
early.
or was he out because of some type of pardon?
So
that
I
was
asked the
granted?
question in this manner: is Claude Dallas still in prison?
Mm-hmm.
And the answer that I got was, I got two different answers. It's the same answer, but in two different verbiages. Dallas was released after serving 22 years in prison. It was supposed to be 30. His sentence was reduced by 8 years for good behavior. He was released in February of 2005, and since then he has been cited living in Grouse Creek, Utah, and in the Alaska wilderness.
Oh, okay.
All right. I'm surprised because, you know, he did escape at one time. You would thought he would have gotten more time for escaping and being out for a little less than a year. But maybe they tacked it on and, okay, he's done. So, okay, I'm sure he's still living off the land.
Yep.
He was that kind of guy. All right, that'll do it for the show for today. Thank you very much for listening in. Bob Lauder, thanks for being here.
Thank you for inviting me.
All righty. Sue Tessier-McKenzie, thanks for being here.
Thank you. Have a good rest of the week.
And next week, the plan is, it's on the schedule, Mayor Chris Beauchamp should join us next Thursday here on the Coffee and program. Stay tuned for Senior Scene. It's next on ON Radio.
Broadcasting live and local daily from the Navigant Credit Union broadcast studio at the corner of Park Avenue and Kennedy Street. This is WOON Woonsocket Radio. And now, the news. Rhode Island Senate President Dominic Ruggiero is reportedly recovering from pneumonia. As of Tuesday afternoon, he was a patient at Our Lady of Fatima Hospital in North Providence. The website Rhode-IslandCurrent.com reported the Senate spokesperson said that 76-year-old Ruggiero was, quote, recovering well and resting up. 2 restaurants in South County, Rhode Island, are closing. They have the same owner, although they have different clientele. They're permanently closing. Channel 10 TV News is reporting the Coastal Cabin in Narragansett and Tavern on Main